Now, before we do problem number 5, let me introduce to you to the steps that we need to follow in dividing rational functions. So the first step will be reciprocal. When you say reciprocal, we need to find the reciprocal of the divisor. Okay? Usually it is the second rational function here. So when you say reciprocal, we just need to exchange the numerator and the denominator. So your numerator will be your denominator and your denominator will be your numerator. So we just need to exchange that. And then if you try to observe here, the next three steps are actually the steps in multiplying rational functions. To further understand that, let's try to solve this problem. So reciprocal, so we just need to get the reciprocal of the second rational function. So we copy 7x over 2x minus 10. Now we get the reciprocal of this, so x over x squared minus 6x will be your new denominator, and your x squared minus 11x plus 30 now will be your new numerator. Now, since we got the reciprocal of this, we need to change the division sign to multiplication sign. So that's how to do this first step. Now, second step will be factor out. Now, before I do the factoring, let me write this 2 into a single fraction sign. So that's 7x multiply that x squared minus 11x plus 30 over 2x minus 10 x squared minus 6x. So there. Now we factor 7x, we cannot factor that out. Now factor out your x squared minus 11x plus 30. We can use here our guess and check method. Factor out x squared, so that's x times x. Now you want to factor out your 30, positive 30, such that you will end up with 11. So we have factors of 30 that if you add up to 11, which are 5 and 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 plus 5 is 11. Now, if you try to observe here, that's positive, so meaning your 5 and 6 should have the same signs. That's negative, so we take negative signs. So let's double check that. Negative 6 times negative 5, you'll get positive 30. Negative 6 plus negative 5, you'll get negative 11. So we're good to go. Now we go to the denominator. We factor out your 2x minus 10. So we only have a common factor of 2. So we bring that out. That will be x. Negative 10 divided by 2, that will be negative 5. Now you factor out x squared minus 6x. They only have a common factor of x, so we pull that out. So that's x times x squared divided by x, so that's x. Negative 6x divided by x, the common factor, which will give us negative 6. So from here, we can cancel out common factors. So we can cancel out here x minus 6. So we have here x minus 6, x minus 6. We have here x minus 5, x minus 5. Now we are left with 7x over 2 times x, so that's 2x. So if you try to see here, x and x are also common factor, so we can cancel out here x and x. Now you're left with simplified form, which is 7 over 2, or you can express that into a decimal, which is 3.5. Now, to solve for the excluded value, we will be using again the comparison table. So we have here the original and the simplified. Let's start with the simplified form, which is this one. So if you try to see, there is no variable at the denominator, so meaning there will be no excluded value. Now for the original, which is the given expression here, we just need to go to the um, factored form, which is this part over here. So we just need to take all variables and equate them to zeros. That's x minus 5, so equate that to 0. You have an x there, so equate that to 0. X minus 6, equate that to 0. Sorry. So from there, do your simple math here. If you do your simple math, you get an x equals positive 5. You do your simple math here, same thing, it's already equated to 0. To 0. Now here, do your simple math, you'll get an x equals 6. So these are now your excluded values. So you just add that to your answer. So your x should not be equal to 5, and your x should not be equal to 0, and your x should not be equal to 6. So that should be your final answer.